Remember the banana duct taped to a wall that sold for $120,000? Yeah, okay, not everything that's expensive is worth the money, but some things are. When you finally get rich, you'll want to know where you should focus your spending. So here are 15 expensive things that are worth the money. Welcome to Alux.com, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. First up, a better zip code and a view. You already know where you live is the most important decision you'll make in your life because it determines who you'll marry, your values, what you care about, what you eat, what you do for work, who you hang out with, and statistically, how long you'll live. A better country, a better city, or even a better zip code is the easiest way to increase the quality of your life straight across the board. The biggest thing you can do for your kids' future is to move them to a better zip code. The first thing you can spend money on for your personal satisfaction is going the extra mile and paying for a property with a view. People don't realize how important what you see when you look out the window is to your mental state, and you'll be living in this property for many years to come. So don't cheap out on this. A private chef. Even if you love cooking, we would still recommend you bring someone in to cook for you if you're able to afford it. Right now, you're struggling every day to make a decision about what you're going to eat. Ideally, you want to be eating healthy, but because of everything happening in your life, you default to ordering takeout based on how fast it can get to you. A private chef costs between $250 and $500 a week, not including groceries, and takes care of the food for the entire family. You feel the upside immediately as you eat delicious food that's healthy and aligned with your goals. You eat a variety of food you wouldn't normally think to cook or order. You save time cooking, grocery shopping, and food inventory, making sure everything in the fridge is used before it goes bad, saving you money. Most wealthy individuals say that health is their #1 priority, but they still eat whatever is available to them. And speaking of health, premium gym membership. Gyms and coffee shops are like the secret to making friends as an adult. Let us explain. In every city, there are 3 types of gyms and coffee shops. First, you've got the cheap ones. These are your corner spots. Usually students and blue-collar workers are the ones who hang out here regularly. Secondly, you've got the standard ones. These are priced normally and are usually the big franchises. Think Starbucks for coffee and Planet Fitness for gyms. Then there's the elite ones. You'll find these only in high-end neighborhoods. Think Equinox as a gym, and that one coffee spot that serves single-origin specialty coffee, and the coffee machine costs more than your university tuition. You know the spots. If you want to make friends that are around the same level of lifestyle that you can afford, you pay up accordingly. Premium gyms add a degree of finesse to your lifestyle. They're cleaner, the trainers are nicer, the pool is bigger, and the people in the sauna are of a higher echelon from a personality perspective. Live-in nanny. If you've got more than one child, you know just how valuable having help around the house is. Some of you think that having one of the grandmothers around is the same thing, but you are mistaken, my friend. Hired help is way more professional. They get the job done efficiently and to your request, and they know what they're doing. You don't hire a nanny to raise the kid on your behalf, but the nanny acts like the COO of the household when it comes to the baby, solving things that need solving so you can focus on what makes a difference. In most places, it costs between $20,000 to $30,000 per year. An executive coach. Look, here's the thing. You made a bit of money and then you got complacent. Usually, when you are your own boss, you're the CEO. There's nobody to report to, so you rely on that self-motivation skill to push yourself and the company forward. Sounds good in theory, and it worked so far, but on the medium and long-term horizons, the inefficiencies are clear. The highest cost you'll pay in life is that on the information you don't know you're missing. You simply don't know what you need to do. The difference between where you are now and making $1 million per month is solely attributed to you not knowing how to make $1 million per month and what are the clear steps that you need to take to get there. Fortunately for the super rich, there are these people called executive coaches that do just that. They help CEOs grow faster based on what they've learned in their own career. A good executive coach costs around $50,000 a year, and you talk about twice a month. Great ones cost over $100,000 a year, and they're worth the money. They are basically your mentor. They keep you in check, they're smart enough to call you out on your bullshit, and they've got the expertise to show you what your next moves are. How fast would you grow if you had someone like that in your corner? Well, lucky for you, this is exactly what we do here at Alux. We pay these coaches on your behalf and get you the same level of insight for only $99 a year. We built the only product that does this, specifically designed for high achievers like yourself. Go to Alux.com/app right now, download the app, and go through the 7-day Alux experience. This foundation week will make you realize how much you really benefit from it. The average Alux app user says things like, "I've got a yearly subscription and the app paid for itself 10 times already in the first month." So try it out for free and you'll stay because it actually does what we say it does. High-end office chair. You spend most of your working day sitting. Isn't it ironic that you're working on a $3,000 machine, but the chair you sit in costs less than $200? And no, look, the gaming chair is not doing justice to your spine. Everyone who can afford it, ourselves included, go for this chair. It's called the Capisco chair by Hague. It costs around $800 and it's the best chair you will ever sit in. Joe Rogan uses the same chair for his podcast. Here's him talking about it.
And they're called Capisco. These are ergonomic chairs. You notice we've been sitting in this place. It's 2.5 hours into the podcast now.
We'll leave an Amazon link in the description. If you want to improve the quality of your life, look at the things you touch in a day and buy yourself a high-quality product to replace the mediocre ones you've been using, and watch the world unfold for you. Braces, veneers, any type of procedure that cures an insecurity. Look, we got a lot of hate when we said this in the past, but if your entire life you've been insecure about having a big nose, a hairy mole on your forehead, or crooked teeth, and you can afford to get it fixed, do it. The added value to your self-esteem will skyrocket. Look, we know people who never used to smile in photos because they were ashamed of how their teeth looked until they got veneers. We know they're expensive. We know they don't last a lifetime, but once you swipe that credit card, you'll realize it's one of the best 10 to 20K you've ever spent. The same goes for breast adjustments after you've had a couple of kids. Don't alter yourself for society's sake or someone else's, but if something makes you insecure, go for it. High-end mattress and sheets. 8 hours in your bed. What percentage of the population do you think wakes up rested? Well, it's less than 1 in 3. 65% report waking up not feeling well rested every single day. If you struggle to fall asleep, if your face is showing red spots, if you haven't really rested in a while, change your sleeping arrangement in this order. Buy a decent mattress. Get one of the more expensive pillows from IKEA so you don't break the bank, and if you can splurge, get yourself a high thread count set of linens, and watch everything go away in a week. Here's some insider knowledge. You can literally go to shop.fourseasons.com. We'll leave the link in the description as well. But there, you can buy the entire set that they use in the most expensive hotel rooms in the world. This isn't a sponsored segment or anything, by the way. We did this ourselves. The high-end mattresses alone cost between $4,000 to $6,000 for a king, and the set with the pillows and everything else will run you around $7,200. If you already have a good mattress, just buy some decent high thread count sheets. These should cost between $200 and $400. Make sure they're over 1,200 thread count and you're good to go. Travel. Travel is one of the few things that makes you richer when you spend money. The more money you spend, the further you can get from what you're used to. Just think about that for a second. There are parts of the world that will change you as a human being if you get to experience them, but money is the only thing standing between you and that progress. The reason why we love traveling so much is because it gets you stories to tell, and stories are the most valuable commodities when you're sitting around other people. And there are also levels to traveling. Ride a train from your place to the furthest city you can book a ticket to. Make sure the trip lasts at least a week. You'll get your stories. Get in the car and drive across the country. Talk to the people you meet along the way. There's also this trip called MSC World Tour. It's a cruise ship that goes around the world in 120 days. You stop in 56 beautiful locations. Although prices start around $13,000 per person, you'll need around $50,000 to have a comfortable experience as a couple. But you see most of the world. Food and drinks are taken care of, and you can even do remote work. Now, before we jump on to the next one, there's something similar that's exclusive to the super rich. There's this ultra-luxury hotel chain called Aman. They've got an experience called the Grandest Tour that costs $160,000 per person, and it lasts 21 days, where a private jet flies you to 8 of their private hotels, and you get to enjoy the absolute highest level of service. If you want to do it alone, we believe there's another $45,000 as a single supplement, but you'd probably enjoy it more if you did it with someone you love. The reason why the Grandest Tour fascinates us personally at Alux is because the private jet has 16 seats, so you'll get to experience this tour with 14 other successful people that can splurge over $300,000 on a 21-day trip. A good divorce lawyer, accountant, and therapist. Doctors, lawyers, accountants, and tattoo artists are some of the people you do not want to cheap out on because the long-term damage they can do to you is disproportionately higher than the cost. Divorces are rarely a pleasant experience, and the financial hit is usually extremely high, so you need the best soldiers fighting for your finances. When it comes to accounting services, a good accountant can return 10 to 1,000 times what you pay them. As for the therapist, nothing's worse than seeing someone who simply doesn't have the skill set required to help you to get to where you need to be in life. You've met people who just want to milk you dry and keep you coming back forever. If you're able to differentiate between the real and the pretenders, well, it depends on your own understanding of what needs to happen and how. Transformations are rarely immediate, but you're going to be paying for their expertise, not for the actual work. This was foundational when we began building the Alux app. We wanted experts who could help you understand your reality, understand what the real options are to change it for the better, and to learn to implement those changes. A decent therapist costs between $150 to $200 per session. The Alux app is $99 per year. Try out the app first, see what happens to your 5 pillars of life, and if you still have questions, go ahead and seek out an individual expert. Chances are, though, many of the insights and answers you're looking for are actually already waiting for you on the app. Go to Alux.com/app right now and get started. Flying business or private? If the flight is longer than 4 hours, you fly business. Your back will thank you. If the flight is shorter than 4 hours and you need to get there on your own terms, you fly private. Once you cross a certain level of income and net worth, the way you think about time changes. The only way to know you've reached it is this. If you think flying business class or flying private is expensive, you're not there yet. Just to put things into perspective, chartering a private jet costs around $12,000 per hour, give or take. If this is the cost to get home to your kids the same day you closed a deal, well, to some people, that's worth it. High-end cars and other membership clubs. When you're young and broke, you don't really understand how the world works. When we were young, we thought people bought supercars in order to A, drive fast, and B, impress girls. Spending $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 to $1 million or more on a car to drive fast and impress girls made no sense to us until we made some money ourselves and got to be around people who have extensive car collections. And what we learned turned our world upside down. Expensive cars are actually private membership clubs. You don't actually buy a Ferrari to drive it fast and impress people, you buy it as a ticket to join the Ferrari Owners Club. Every couple of months, Ferrari creates these exclusive events for supercar owners where you get to network and do business with other people who can afford to buy these Ferraris. And it's the same with all of the top brands. The supercars provide access to private networks. The European Gumball 3000 costs around $50,000 per car to join. That's just the ticket to attend. You bring your own car. It's close to $100,000 if you want to do both US and Europe. They're also planning to have one in the Middle East. It takes place over 6 days, and this year it was from the UK to Montenegro. There are other experiences like these that might seem ridiculous to the average person, but to those who can afford them, are definitely worth it. Quality clothes and footwear. A person spends their entire life either in bed, on a chair, or on their feet. Invest in all three. If you stand all day, On Cloud 5 Push, Hoka Clifton 9s, and New Balance foams are pretty comfortable. And look, hate on Kanye all you want, but Yeezys are also pretty comfy. From shoes, we can extrapolate that to your entire wardrobe. There's a saying you might be familiar with that goes like this: you buy cheap, you buy twice. Turns out the lower quality something is, the lower the number of times you use or wear it, so this brings us to something you'll remember for the rest of your life. When investing in any piece of clothing, try to figure out the cost per wear. If you pay $60 for a cheap pair of shoes you wear only twice, the cost per wear is $30. If you buy a nice pair for $150 and wear them 10 times, well, the cost per wear is only $15. This is how you justify spending thousands of dollars on certain items. A $2,000 trench coat from Burberry makes sense when you'll be wearing it every spring and autumn for the next 10 years. When you've got a luxury product, you actually enjoy wearing it more. But be careful of the luxury goods that you don't wear much. This is why some items in the store are discounted. They're not the most useful or timeless pieces, so your cost per wear is higher. Once you understand how to measure this return on items acquired, the way you shop changes forever. Concerts and meeting your heroes. People think concerts are just another form of entertainment like going to the movies, but it's not. Concerts and live events allow you to take part in something truly unique, to be a part of a moment in time. Believe it or not, this is why people spend up to $20,000 to see Taylor Swift live. You'll never be this age again watching your favorite artist perform live. It's an experience. It's a memory. Money opens up a lot of doors and gets you into some interesting rooms if you know how to spend it. Get the meet and greet. Go to the book signing of your favorite author. Book a private session with your favorite chef or whoever you look up to. It feels like you're living and not just surviving. And last, but certainly not least, charity. Most of you think you can't afford to give money to charity. Most of you also think that your life lacks meaning. If you were to make a chart of those two segments, there's a lot of overlap there. They say, nobody went poor by giving. And as we keep growing up, we realize just how true that is. The outcome of giving and having an impact in the lives of others is a pretty big boost to your self-esteem. You feel like your life wasn't wasted. Your happiness goes up when you see that you have the power to make other people happy too. If you don't know where to start, know that you already do by watching this video. At Alux, we've made it a core part of our business philosophy to keep giving. Last year, we built the first Alux International School in Uganda, the only free, self-sustaining school in the region. This year, we've already committed to providing 5 communities from Burundi with drinkable water, and we're not stopping there. Thanks to everyone who subscribes to the Alux app, not only are we able to create an incredible product, but we're also able to measure success based on the impact that we have in the real world. Thank you to every single one of you who subscribes to our channel and watches these videos until this point. And we want to ask you, what's a one expensive thing that you paid for that was definitely worth it? And since you're still watching, let's share a bonus with just the select few still with us. Crossing things off your bucket list. Aluxer, do you have a bucket list? Not mentally, like an actual list with the things you'd like to do in life and how much they would cost. If not, we promise you that doing this in real life is worth it. Grab a pen and a piece of paper and start writing shit down. Write down everything you can think of that you believe would add sparkle to your life. This isn't about goals, like becoming a billionaire. More along the lines of see the aurora borealis, all expenses paid for your parents, ride in a Rolls-Royce Phantom, meet Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, maybe even add some of the things that we mentioned earlier in this video. You know your list better than anyone else, but please put it in writing. Now, look at your list and realize that there is a version of your life where everything you put on that list is achievable and more. As you discover even more cool things, add them to your list. We want you to promise yourself you won't die with a list not checked off. You are not here watching these Sunday motivational videos for nothing. You actually want to go after it. If you're one of the very few who just made that promise to themselves, write the word promise in the comments. Let's see who we need to hold accountable here. Come back to this video when you cross the first item off your list, Aluxer. We can't wait to hear all about it.